Good morning, one and all, and welcome to today's video. So today I just have the one pair on watch, and that is pound CAD. A lot of the pairs in my top 6 and in my additional pairs list, if I just flick to that, a lot of these are just messing about, as my pairs have been doing for quite a few months now. So as I said, in trading, the name of the game is patience, and if that continues to happen, then it continues to happen. I will have very little on watch, but when something looks close to shaping up, then I obviously will have it on watch, and if it provides me with an entry, I will place a trade if we actually get one. But that is another matter altogether. But anyway, pound CAD, as I said yesterday, if you are watching yesterday's video, the reason I am watching this pair today and the reason I was watching it yesterday is because we have this significant low here from the top down, from the top to the bottom. The narrative, as I see it, is that price has tapped into this all-time low here, which was created in 2010. We came down to quite close to that low. We came down again, came quite close, pushed all the way back up to here, tapped into this area of liquidity and this area of liquidity that was sat there, came all the way down, near miss to it again. And I've talked many, many times about how these near misses are often an indication that price will eventually tap into this low, break below it in many cases, especially when it's an all-time low. So on the higher time frames, we typically see price break below rather than just tap into an area of value before it rallies to the upside. And the same is true on the flip side. And when it is an all-time low, that is, excuse me, when it is an all-time low, that is typically where we catch people the wrong side of the market, as it were, before that higher time frame direction kicks in and that move to the upside. As I've said previously, this represents a bargain area of value for a buy for a lot of the big players, and many of the people that don't know what they're doing and don't trade with any particular plan start shorting here. And well, they must not have a plan, because where would their plan to get out be? Okay, there's nothing. You can't see anything below this price. So if they're shorting it, where are they shorting it to? They probably don't have a plan for that. So this therefore probably just means that the sellers here are getting caught the wrong side of the market, and that price will just rally to the upside aggressively. And that is, as you can see, what actually happened. Then on the flip side, we have the same sort of thing. We have a near miss to here. Okay, so we have this near miss. Price came quite close to this high but failed to tap into it, giving me a clue that what we're seeing now is just a series of impulse correction continuations to potentially take out that high, which this near miss to, and then we would kind of have that we would kind of have this expanding pattern. Okay, so we would have that kind of 1, 2, 3 with the middle section, which taps into this area, and then what happens at that area, whether we reverse and come all the way back down here, or whether we form continuation to push higher, is another matter. But that's the narrative as I see it. Okay, so just looking for that higher time frame move up to this high here, which we near missed to last time around. So that means that what I'm doing now is I'm drilling down, looking to see if there's a possible entry to basically ride the waves, ride the coattails, as it were, of the big players, not smash the banks. You'll see that a lot on TradingView, but there's a lot of people talking about smashing the banks. Well, if you knew exactly how much money these people are trading, you wouldn't be trying to smash them, I can assure you of that. Okay, so I've just sort of separated the structures here. So we have that little footprint there. We come down. If we really zoom into this, you can see that we near miss to this low. So what does that mean? Price will likely find its way back down to this area again, tap into it, and then rally to the upside. That's what happens. We have a footprint here. Price comes down. It near misses to the footprint, comes down again. And I think if we just look at this very closely, let's just analyze this. Notice that if we really zoom into this, this is negligible, but notice that we near missed to it again. Okay, so we near missed that low, near missed there. So we come all the way back down, break below here, wash everybody out, and then rally to the upside. So we see these patterns repeat themselves over and over again. Okay, we then push to the upside, and you can see that we left. If I just drill down, what do we also have to the upside? Look at this. We have We have a near miss to there, and then price near miss to there. So the more near misses we have, the more likely it is that there is liquidity at the areas that we near missed to. So if we near missed here and we near missed here, there's probably a lot of liquidity here, which will likely drag price up. And you can kind of see that is likely the case by how price has moved down. If you look how price moved down from here, if we just take the bars pattern tool, replicate it, that is a corrective move down. That's not, that doesn't strike me. That's not an impulsive move to the downside. That is a corrective move to the downside. We have a series of near misses to here. So we come down, we near miss to here, we near miss to there again. People try to buy it, but there's still liquidity in this area dragging price down, which needs to be filled before it potentially moves to the upside. However, note what I said in my previous video. So I'm just seeing this as the area of value at this moment in time. Do I think the entry that I'm going to be looking for today is likely to shape up by the end of the day? No. But if it does, this would be a super solid trade for a long position to the upside. Okay, so why do I say that I think it might not shape up by the end of the day? Well, if we just analyze, this has been a corrective move down, but notice that the last leg is impulsive. Okay, the last leg is impulsive, and this ordinarily this is a good sign, because generally speaking, when we have a corrective move down to an area of value, the last leg does tend to have momentum. However, we don't usually break too far below these lower time frame areas of value if we're going to rally to the upside. Okay, we see that more on the higher time frames, catching people the wrong side of the market. And if we just look how prices move back up, look how correctively prices moved up since Monday afternoon. Okay, that's not striking me at this moment in time as a move to the upside. And what this could be, if we just analyze this, I did this yesterday. If you remember in yesterday's video, I said to you that this could be, I was analyzing this about here, and I said that if you were to get long within here, for example, I mean, this wasn't a flag that I would have got involved with, but if you watch yesterday's video, I said you could be tagged in, tagged out, and then price forms something more like this. Okay, and then we kind of have this structure which taps into this hook point there, and then this whole thing becomes a bear flag to push lower, not all the way down to those higher time frame lows, but potentially down to perhaps this area of value here. Okay, so I said to you the way that I would be mitigating that, okay, is I would be waiting for a break above that little hook point there, because then that would negate the possibility of this becoming a bear flag rather, to push lower. Okay, so the last line in the sand where the liquidity might be, if this is a bear flag to push lower, would be this little hook point here. Generally speaking, the hook points when they are sharp is where the liquidity is sat, especially if we near miss. Okay, what have we done? We've near missed to that hook point there. So what this might be is price tapping into here, and then this becomes an expanding pattern for that move to the downside. So to negate that, because I wouldn't be interested in a move to the downside, because if I just zoom out, where would my target actually be? This is not the, if I'm getting short here, does it make sense that we're moving all the way back down to these lows? No, for the reasons, because the higher time frame direction is in, and because of how correctively prices move down here. We have a near miss to here, a near miss to here, and we have all those near misses above price. So it does make sense for price to be coming to the upside, but I'm just letting price show its hand because, as I said, it's moved up very correctively here, and that's not typical. We don't normally see a corrective move up and then price just blast to the upside. But if it did, and it did break above that little hook point, then on the daily chart, just to touch on it, if we just look at this on the daily chart, if price was to break above that line, that ray line, which I've got plotted on there, we would have that morning star formation. So we would be able to see that price is tapped into this hook point, and if we broke above that ray line, we would have this kind of, and if it closed in that area as well, we'd have that confirmed morning star formation. We'd have the bearish candle, the stall in price, followed by the bullish candle, which closes above that ray line, and then that, I think, would open the floodgates for that move to the upside to take out those near misses and that high which we near missed too. So just looking for the same thing again. I'll be looking for, as I said, I don't think this is likely to happen by the end of the day, but the market doesn't care what we think, and this is one of the ways that traders go wrong. They think a lot of traders would look at this if they were, even if they were looking for the same thing as me, and go, no, that's not going to happen. Well, you don't know what's going to happen. As I said, all my forecasts is not me saying this will happen or that won't happen. It's me looking at repeatable patterns which I've seen in the past, which have historically for decades and decades, and if you want to go down the Elliott wave theory, repeated themselves since about the 1860s. But that's a conversation for another day. All it is just me looking at the patterns that repeated themselves and being ready to execute, showing up and being ready to execute if these entries present themselves. So it doesn't actually matter what I think is likely or unlikely. It would only take one candle for this to break above here. Okay. There is economic data coming out of Canada at 1:30 this afternoon. It is currently just gone 7 a.m. in the morning. Now, that economic data may be the catalyst. We may get one bullish candle or two bullish candles that close above here when that news comes out. And then suddenly what we thought was not ready, or what I thought was not ready, like not likely to be ready by the end of the day, suddenly that shapes up. And then you're left floundering because you you let your ego get involved and you said, no, that's not going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So we just have to show up. And if something, if there's a setup like this, which would only take one or two candles for it to break above here, and then all I'd be looking for is that consolidation afterwards, where I would be looking to get long on the break of the flag or within it, because typically speaking, these little corrections are just the banks and the bigger players stacking their orders for the next leg in whichever direction. If we've come from a move up and corrected afterwards, typically that's the banks and the bigger players stacking their orders for the next leg higher. And this, therefore, is the confirmation that those of us who trade the Falcon strategy look for to determine whether price is going to move in one direction or the other. Okay, so if we get that, I'll be looking to get long on the break of the flag or within it, and then I would be able to manage this, let's say, up to this high as a first inflection point for first target for something in the region of 5%. And of course, if those higher time frame directions kick in, all these near misses, if we move up to there, then there is a healthy profit potential on the cards, but we shall see. So what I've done is I've set a little alert, if you're new to my videos, just below this ray line to see if we push up to this area and to see if we break above it. And if we don't, then I'm just going to not look at this pair at all. I've still got Christmas stuff to do. I was doing a lot of that yesterday. If that alert is not triggered, then the simplest way, I don't have a problem with this, but a lot of people have problem with, they spend too much time in the charts, and then they convince themselves that they can see an entry which isn't actually there. Well, if you're the sort of person that suffers from that, which I probably was when I was newer to trading, then the simplest thing to do is just set an alert on your chart, and if it's not triggered, just leave that pair alone. Don't look at it until the end of the day, until you forecast. Okay, so that is what I'm going to be looking for from pound CAD. I've tried to go into a little bit more detail than I normally would, just because I have less pairs on watch, and because within the 20-minute parameters that I'm allowed for these videos, I can go into a little bit more detail. As I said, I could probably talk for about an hour on each pair as to all of the things that I've learned to see, but trying to cram that into a 20-minute video when you've got multiple pairs on watch is is no mean feat. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, folks, and I will see you again in the next one, if I have a pair or pairs on watch, or if this setup provides me with the entry. If it does, then I will break the entry down. If I'm in the trade, I'll break that down for you now. Break that down for you in that video. Full transparency on my part. But for now, have a great day, and I will speak to you again soon. Thanks for watching.